Hi, welcome back to Mina's bookshelf for another deck review. Today I'm sharing with you the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle 44 card deck and guidebook by Lisa Estabrook. This deck used to be an indie deck. A few years ago, it was released as an indie deck, and recently, I think this year, it was picked up by In a Tradition, an imprint of Simon and Schuster, I think, and it was republished as a mass market. Now, I do not have the indie version to compare, but I do believe that there are no significant differences between the two decks. If you know otherwise, please leave your feedback in the comment section. From the back of the box, every single human being is searching for meaning, belonging, peace, love, and joy in their lives. The Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle will help you remember the simple truth that all of nature is sharing, that we are cyclical beings, intimately entwined with the earth, the moon, and all of life, that we're fully supported, and that we have everything we need within us to be happy and to be whole, despite the hardships and challenges life may bring us. Now, the basic idea, fundamental idea behind the creation of this deck is that the process of spiritual self-awareness, spiritual discovery, spiritual growth, it's exactly the same as in the practice of gardening. It follows the same steps, the same rituals, sometimes in association with specific seasons. So, tending to the garden of our soul is like tending to an actual garden. Now, the creator, Lisa Estabrook, is an artist. She is the painter of these beautiful watercolors. She is also an herbalist and a plant whisperer, something that I am not, unfortunately, but I do enjoy botanical decks quite a bit. They're a substantial part of my portion of my deck collection. Now, this deck comes in a very nice, sturdy box with the magnetic flap. This is the inside. It comes with a book, about 170 some pages, black and white, and a deck, 44 cards, generous proportions. It's take my entire hand. I have small hands anyway. And the cardboard cardstock they're printed on is kind of cardboardy, the kind that you need to be very careful when you riffle shuffle, because once you bend the card, you damage it irreversibly. The backs are just the same as in the edition, I think, with this beautiful variation of blues and greens. Beautiful cards, I have to say. I was really getting lost in the beauty in these watercolors. They're very this is a deck that is very easy to use if you're on the go for some quick readings, although for spiritual readings you want to take your time. But anyway, besides this beautiful watercolor, there's also the common name of the plant, the keyword associated with it, and a very generous blurb here on the bottom that will give you enough food for thought to do your readings. I recommend reading the book because it's really well written. The messages are very supportive, gentle, inspiring. I have to say, I was doing an ancestral healing reading for myself when I started using this last month, and the message that I got had me in tears because it really touched a chord of my heart, and it really felt as if my own a person very close to me, my even if I've never met her, my maternal grandmother was talking to me. So chances are you will get emotional reading some of these messages, and I do recommend going through the book when you do your readings. So the book is printed on black and white paper, I mean black and white illustrations, and there are a few chapters in the beginning before the author goes into the meanings of each of the cards, each of the plants. And throughout these chapters, her name is Lisa Estabrook, Mrs. Estabrook, goes through the ritual that you normally practice when you tend to your garden and compare them to what we normally do when we start in one of those incredibly uh, life-changing journeys into our souls with self-exploration. And after these beautiful chapters, each of them starts with also with a beautiful quote that has some connection with the soul and the gardenings. The author goes into the Soulflower Plant Spirit, and we have the common name, the keyword, the botanical name, the scientific name, a black and white thumbnail, the same blurb that you find on the card, and then about a page and a half of meaning, extended message, and a final affirmation. Now, if you are looking for a botanical deck where the author gives you, besides the spiritual meaning of the card, gives you also an in-depth introduction to the plant, the characteristics, the location, the specific habitat where these plants grows, and other properties. This is probably not exactly that kind of deck, although the author will mention a few basic characteristic of the plants in order to create a connection with the spiritual meaning that she attributes to each of these cards. There's not much in the way of very more botanical, scientific explanations and descriptions. And this is just fine because this is a deck that you really will use for deeper self meditation kind of readings. So let's get going and take a look at the cards. They're beautiful. They're not in order because I've been using them extensively. So we have white pine, wisdom, bee balm, vibrance, lady's mantle, nurturance, speedwell, insight, milk thistle, forgiveness, rosemary, clarity, plumago, understanding, self-heal, responsibility, echinacea, consciousness, evening primrose, rebirth, hawthorn, courage, dandelion, release, nettle, transformation, chamomile, stability, calendula, communication, hydrangea, transmutation, crocus, opening, red clover, tranquility, lavender, restoration, lady's slipper, connection, yarrow, boundaries, daffodil, perception, velvet leaf, self-love, campanula, alignment, forget-me-not, awareness, periwinkle, intertwining, borage, optimism, wood betony, grounding, rose, joy. Colors are so vibrant. Such a joy to use this deck. Purple poppy, evolution, bleeding heart, independence, columbine, abundance, sunflower, confidence, mugwort, integration, chickweed, tolerance, iris, inspiration, aster, illumination, black-eyed Susan, recognition, pansy, resonance, nasturtium, vitality, zinnia, lightheartedness, stargazer, lily, surrender, daylily, centering, and hellebore, empowerment. The way I've been using this deck for the past few weeks was drawing from 1 to 3 cards every day, usually in the mid-afternoon or at the end of the day. and get some inspiration for my meditative practice, counseling, um, clarity over the energies that I needed to cope with throughout the day. Any combination sometimes also with some tarot reading. I use it also in spreads. And I have to say, although this is a deck that lends itself to spiritual readings mainly, to meditation, self-reflections, um, there are ways to make connections between the messages of each of these cards with the most mundane uh, focus of our daily life. It's possible. It can be read that way as well. Now let's choose a card and let's read the extended message from the book. So I'm going to ask the spirit guides from the pure white light, ancestors who love us and want the highest good of all, to provide me with some clarity, guidance, and inspiration. What are the energies we are going to cope with the incoming week? Yarrow Boundaries, always a good advice. So this is what the blurb says. Like a little umbrella or shield, Yarrow offers protection from negative energies or toxic influences. She helps you to build strong, healthy boundaries and compassionate awareness of self and others, and to avoid unnecessary energy leaks and general depletion as you evolve and grow. So let's take a look at the guidebook and read the extended meaning. So the cards are listed in alphabetical order, so it's pretty easy to find them. Yarrow Boundaries. The scientific name is Achillea millefolium. So, we live in a complex world filled with physical and non-physical dualities, yet the boundaries of both are often blurred and hard to discern. We like to label everything and everyone as good or bad, but reality is definitely not black or white. It is more of a full spectrum of grays, the exact shade usually based on the experiences, understanding, and perspective of those participating in it. Intuitively, we know healthy boundaries are a critical part of self-care. It's just that they vary for each individual, and sometimes our boundaries are not all that apparent or clear. Learning to set strong, healthy personal boundaries is important, not only for cultivating a positive self-concept and self-image, but also for maintaining physical health. Boundaries are our main way of communicating to others that we have self-respect and self-worth and will not allow others to define us. When we love someone, or conversely want someone to love us, and while we are simultaneously trying to learn how to love ourselves, our boundaries often get blurry and distorted. This is why having and maintaining strong boundaries is so hard. If we are feeling stressed, tired, run down, or depleted in any way, it can even be harder. Yarrow sticks her strong and firm stem right into the spokes of the endless vicious circle. She will help plug those holes where your energy drains, and she will protect you when you have to face difficult situations by supporting a strong inner awareness of what you need to do to prevent and protect yourself from leaking in the first place. The work then is to discover what your own healthy boundaries are with regard to not only the material world, but also in relation to where you're emotionally and energetically. Recognizing who or what drains you and who or what gives you joy will help you identify where and where not to direct your effort and energy. Begin by saying a kind but clear no to the people and things that do not support you. Understand deeply that there is no one and nothing outside yourself that can be responsible for your own health and happiness. That is the work of your lifetime. Where are you leaking energy? Where can you say yes to your own well-being? So this deck is great also for those who use oracle decks as a starting point for journaling, for daily journaling. There is also an affirmation at the end of each of the extended meanings. I know deeply who and what supports me and who or what drains me, and I act accordingly. Now, the deck doesn't provide any spreads, any specific spreads to use for this deck. So what I've been doing my single card pulls, daily single card pulls. I've also been using the deck like I normally do in combination with the tarot. Sometimes pulling a card from the oracle deck and placing it in the middle, and then a couple of cards from a tarot deck, blocks and blessings, or things to embrace and things to leave behind. For example, one of the decks that I found was very aesthetically and energetically too, very compatible with this one, was the Dreaming Way Tarot by Rome Choi and the Dreaming Way Lenormand by the same creator. The most obvious point of contact between these two decks is obviously the artwork, being this a deck created using watercolors. Let's do blocks and blessings. Oh, the blocks. Okay, for the Stargazer Lily, surrender. Stargazer Lily is asking you to surrender to the unconditional love flowing towards you from the universe. Let down the barriers surrounding your heart and surrender unloving thoughts about yourself and allow yourself to receive. You're always enough. All right, this is the card that says that we might have some unloving thoughts, like the creator of the deck likes to call them. It's the negative self-talk. It's the unfounded fears of the Nine of Swords. And the blessings. We have the Two of Wands. Our ability to manifest, to be able to project our wishes, our desires, our plans through that mental vision into the future. Let's see a few more cards. We have Natal Transformation with the King of Wands and the Three of Cups. Bleeding Heart, Independence with the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. It's through hard work that we can embrace what our real passions, our true passions in life are. Just to give you a brief idea, for some more specific readings related to the mundane, I've also been combining the oracle and the tarot with some Lenormand cards, usually from 3 to 5. Let's see how pretty they look together. All right, so this was the combination with the Dreaming Way Tarot and Lenormand decks. Another one that worked really well with the SOULFLOWER Plant Spirit Oracle is the Botanical Tarot by Mia Combe. Again, watercolors, somewhat some botanical energy as well, although this is not specifically a botanical deck, but these are the backs. Look how beautiful. King of Wands again. 7 of Coins, King of Wands. Hydrangea. We have the Page of Wands. And Justice. Centering with the Daylily. With the 3 of Wands. And Temperance. Finding balance. Alright, that was pretty good for me. Another combination is with the Herb Crafters Tarot, artwork by Joanna Powell Colbert and written by Letitia Guthrie. This is a strictly botanical deck. Beautiful paintings in this deck. So beautiful, so perfect that they might look like pictures. And this is a mass market deck published by US Game. What I love about this combination is that the tarot deck offers you like a zoomed out, larger scope image, which includes the plants. And then the oracle deck provides like a zoom in on the energy that you need to focus on. Empowerment, the helper, between the 4 of Fire, Elder, and the Ace of Air, Yarrow. It's also interesting how sometimes there will be a synchronicity between the plants that appear, the spirit plant ally that appears in the oracle deck and those that appear in the tarot. We have Lavender, Restoration, between 6 of Water and the Moon, Borage and Datura. And then we have Lady Slipper, Connection, between the 2 of Water, the Connection card, and the 8 of Water, Valerian. One more. We have Dandelion, Release, between Camellia, Temperance, and 10 of Fire, Comfrey. Definitely need to release burdens and burn out and find a way to self-heal with the Temperance energy. All right, so this was the combination with the Herb Crafters deck, tarot deck. Another one that I would like to share with you is the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle deck. I love to combine botanical energy with animal totems. Now, this is an oracle deck, mass market oracle deck, that focuses on messages and birds and their feathers. Each of these cards is a feather from a particular bird. Beautiful. And on the other side of the card, we have the image of the bird the feather belongs to, and a possible message, a message that you can receive from that specific animal, bird totem. We have Forget-Me-Not, awareness between the Oriole and the Turkey. Oriole, a new creative venture is on the horizon. See it as a positive change. And on the other side, Turkey, honor your own time of harvest, offer your gifts and blessings, and service to the greater good. So, and the fact that this is also created using watercolor is a plus, because I do personally like to see an aesthetical marriage between the decks in order to also to vibe with their energy. Chickadee, it's time. The time is right to release all patterns and energies. You are ready to embrace change. With Rose, joy. Embrace that change with joy. It's time, the time is ripe for creation and connection. Focus your attention in these areas. So this was the combination with the Divine Feather Messenger deck. Another one that works really well in combination with the gentle energy of the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle is the Roots and Wings Oracle deck. Again, art-wise, they're very compatible because they're both watercolors. Grounding with home and mystery. I love to see these roots here appearing with the keyword grounding. And where can you find grounding if not in the place that you consider home, the place where you feel grounded and safe? Recognition between drifting and manifestation. Confidence between wildness and wisdom. And then self-love between inspiration and night. Beautiful. Another possible oracle deck you might use in combination with the Soulflower Plant Spirit Oracle is the Healer of the Earth Oracle by Amanda Peterson, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's the healing nature of the messages of this deck that works for me really well with the plant allies of this deck. We have optimism between sacred smoke and dolphin song, clearing the air, purging negativity, prayer, listening guidance, clairaudience. Daffodil perception between the fungi funeral, moderation, sobriety, healthy choices, and pick up your sword. Take a stand, be heard, support a cause. And we could keep going. All right, so this was the combination with the Healers of the Earth Oracle deck. And one last giveaway from this reading for those who would like to also would like to get some inspiration and ideas for reading. Two books that I vibe with the botanical nature and the inspirational nature of the deck are the Violets of March by Sarah Geo and a classic, literary classic, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. All right, thank you so much for being with me for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, leave your comment. Let me know if you have the indie version of this deck and if there's any difference with the recently released mass market edition. Until I see you next time, many blessings.